So welcome all future Yellow Jackets. I'm Doug Wilson. I'm the principal of the high school. The other individuals that we have on here tonight are Jackie Chavez, Melinda Reyes, Kim Olzak, Jamie Brooks should be joining us as well, Patrice Howard, all of which are counselors and administrators of our building. Tonight, we are going to be presenting to you just some introductory information about what's going on at the high school, some programs that we have to offer, offering you a chance to ask any questions. We had a great time with the kids today at 8th grade Invasion. They were able to come in, tour the building, talk to our leadership kids, have some pizza with us, and really have a great time with our staff and students today. So we look to extend that into tonight and offer you some great information so that you can make some great decisions about your kids' schedules and your kids' future here at Avondale High School. That being said, I am going to turn it over to Devin Wiles, who is one of our students at the high school, and he is going to give you a little bit of a conversation about his experiences at the high school. Devin?
Thanks, Mr. Wilson. I hope my connection's not too bad. Yeah, I'm Devin Wiles. I'll just introduce myself. I'm a senior at AHS, and just a little bit about me and a little bit about my experiences. I've played varsity baseball all 4 years at the high school. I also played 2 years of JV football. I'm also a member of the journalism club at Avondale, the Ethics Bowl team. And yeah, so as far as Avondale goes, I'm also a second generation student. My dad attended Avondale as well. So obviously a lot of the people here at the high school we've known, and as many of you know probably, and many of you are, there's a lot of families that stay in the district through years. And I think that's really something that the Avondale is kind of distinguishes itself from other districts, as you know. Just the family, the community, and really the main thing would be that I would say would be the diversity here at Avondale. I applied to the University of Michigan this year, and in one of the essays I had to write, the prompt was name a community that you belong to, and explain your role within that community. And I could have chosen anything, but I chose the Avondale community because I feel that it's a diverse community that we have, and I feel that every day when you walk through the hallways, you see friend groups standing together and talking, and you never see any friend group that's all specifically one gender, one sexuality, one race. You never see anything like that. It's always a mixture. It's always inclusive, and takes into account everybody. And I think that's something that is really unique about Avondale, and specifically the high school too. I think it even kind of goes to a different level at the high school with that, where people are really developing bonds with other students and with their teachers, which leads me into kind of the academic side of things, I would say, and how Avondale kind of distinguishes itself apart from other schools there too. We have some of the most dedicated teachers, definitely, without a doubt, and they're obviously the kind of the heart of Avondale High School. And just as the middle school had, we have plenty of great teachers, and I'd really like to kind of note like the secondary programs that we have at Avondale that are led by some great people. I would talk about foreign language teachers. We have some veteran foreign language teachers that have been here for a long time and do a great job with their students. Along with that, there's also the theater company led by Mr. Sheldon, which does a great job and very successful. We've got the choir, the band program, very good. Robotics is very successful. We've got the computer science program. So there's a lot of different programs that we have led by great people and great teachers, and I feel like that's a huge part of what Avondale has to offer. And then something I can also talk to on a personal level is also, like I said, sports, since I am an athlete myself. At Avondale, there's a lot of great coaches that we have, and you see them throughout the building as well. We have many coaches that are hall monitors, teachers, and so forth. And we feel that, I feel that, these individuals, along with the teachers and the staff members and the counselors and everybody here, do a great job of, have done a great job developing me as a person, as well as many of my classmates. I think would hold the same standard with that. And our coaches do a great job. Our athletic facilities are outstanding, well kept. Everything is great with that, I will also say. And then kind of the final thing I want to talk about was like events throughout the year, fun things that take place and really kind of build that community that I was talking about to an even different level. Talk about homecoming, and we have sharing and caring week. We have the diversity assembly or week that has been talked about many times and we had in the past. This past month, actually, February, we celebrated Black History Month. Something that was kind of cool at the high school is they were playing music in the lunchroom, and in the morning during Mr. Wilson's daily announcements, we had a fact shared out about African American history. So that's something that was really cool. And then we also have Avondale Elite, which is next week, I believe, which is always a fun week around Avondale. And yeah, so all these events really kind of contribute to that overall community. And yeah, so overall, I would say Avondale High School definitely has a lot to offer and has developed me into a great person, and developed a lot of my classmates into great people as well. And I feel that moving forward, as far as education beyond high school, that the teachers, the counselors, the administration, everybody does a great job preparing their students for that. So yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Devin. I don't think anybody could have said it better than that, so well done. Again, if you have any questions as we go through this presentation tonight, please feel free to type it in the chat. It will go to everyone. Any of the questions that we can answer as we go through the night, we will answer in the chat. Any of them that we feel like we need to address later on, we will read out loud and address those to everybody. And again, that will happen after the first section, and then we'll give you an opportunity to do a breakout room, whether it's supports or the accelerated pathways. For the next little bit of the presentation, we're going to hand this off to Sammy Bolton, who is also on with us to represent the high school transition team, and then our counselors as they go through this program tonight. So I will hand it over to Kim, Melinda, and Jackie.
Well, good evening. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to start out for us tonight and talk a little bit about who we are and what we do up here. As you can see on the screen right now, we've listed the 3 counselors, and how we do our counseling at the high school is basically we go by alpha. So we have A through GO, and that's through last name, is Miss Chavez, and then GP through O is Miss Reyes. And then finally, I bring up the end of the alphabet of P through Z. And we each have some specialty things that we work with. Right now, I'm working with GATE. I do early college. Miss Chavez, kind of specializes in AP. Miss Reyes right now is working towards specializing in some of the online stuff. But the great thing about this is that we get to have your kids all 4 years. So we really get to know our kids and enjoy being with them. We have one more counseling position open right now that will take over the GATE responsibilities and the online responsibilities, but we haven't been able to fill that now, so we're just leaving that as an open puzzle piece in our whole big picture. Can I have the next slide, please? So I wanted to go over just a little bit of our timeline. So literally tonight, we had the 8th grade invasion today, had our kids up here spending some time with us. March, tonight we're spending some time with you to talk about some things. And then tomorrow, we will be in 8th grade classrooms at the middle school, talking with kids about scheduling, what's alike, what's different, what are graduation requirements, all those good things that we'll talk to you guys about tonight. And then on the 4th, we will be at GATE to talk to the 8th graders at GATE about the high school and programs that we have at the high school. On the 9th, that's when we're going to ask that our kids turn in their course selection. So that gives them time to talk to you, work with you. You guys can look at things, talk about things, and kind of figure out which direction you want to move with scheduling. So it gives you the weekend. We don't want to wait too long. If we wait too long, the kids drag it out. They lose forms. They forget about things. So what we found is we just hit it fast and furious, and then get through this part. So there's a scheduling form that we'll go through with the kids tomorrow. And then there is an honor statement that we'll talk about just a little bit later, and test out opportunities if those are requested, and how those work and how they function within the high school curriculum. The 29th of April is our deadline for requesting changes. So literally, if you say you're going to do honors English and then something happens and you're like, yeah, no, I don't think that's a good fit for me, you can contact your counselor by email. All of our emails are listed on the webpage, and you can go ahead and make that schedule change. It will change it in the course request for you. And then finally, it kind of wraps up in August, where we bring our freshmen in for their freshman orientation. That's when they get their schedules and check their lockers and are able to walk through the building again, walk their schedule, those kind of things. So that's kind of how we handle the transition, and what the timeline looks like for that. Can I have the next slide, please? A little bit about, we have the Michigan Merit Curriculum is what we follow in the state of Michigan in order to grant a high school diploma. And we're going to go into more details about that. But Avondale's graduation requirements are simply that our kids earn 23 credits, grades 9 through 12. The kids, with the classes they take, are able to earn 7 credits per year. So I don't want anybody to panic and think that we can't get to 23, because there's plenty of time and plenty of opportunity to get there. They must attend school for 8 semesters, 4 years, complete all of the Avondale High School graduation requirements, and take the MME. The MME is another state requirement. It's called the Michigan Merit Exam, but it's got some components in it. So there is the M-STEP, which I'm sure you're familiar with, the M-STEP testing. And then there's work keys. And then they do take an actual reportable SAT test. This all happens in 11th grade. So that is a state requirement, but it also gives them a chance to take an SAT with a college reportable score. Can I have the next slide, please? A little bit about some of the things that might be different up here than it would be at the middle school. We don't do trimesters, we do semesters. So our semesters run from August until January, the middle of January, and then our second semester runs from January until June. And so the kids get progress reports along the way. Their grades culminate through that whole semester. And then they get a semester grade, which is part of their classwork, their final exam. And then those two combined together create a semester grade for them. And then they restart second semester. So you'll see report cards, you'll see progress reports, those kinds of things. And then it restarts again at the second semester. Our students earn 0.5 per class each semester. Like I said, so that equals up we have 7 hours in the day here at the high school. So that equals 3.5 per semester, or 7 for the year. At the high school, in the MyStar system that we use, credits determine grade level, not year. So if our kids have a rough 9th grade year and they have 4.5 credits, they will not move to 10th grade. They will take 10th grade classes, and they will have to make up the classes that they failed, because it's a state requirement. It's a graduation requirement. So we talk to the kids a lot about there are consequences when you're here and when you fail a class, because everything that you need is part of your schedule. So those do have to be made up. Can I have the next slide, please? And actually, this is a little bit about our required classes. So I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Chavez and let her talk to you a little bit about our required classes at the high school.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to go into more depth of the requirements that we have. So the first requirement is English. Every high school student needs to take 4 years of English, which is equivalent to the 4 credits. So as a freshman, the students will either take English 9 or they have the ability to take Honors English 9. Anyone can take Honors English 9 or Honors class. You are able to do that. If the student is on the edge about taking an Honors English class, the English 9 class, there is an opportunity to go into the regular level English 9 class, and within the first 2 weeks of the first semester, they can choose to do the honors option and turn in the honors statement that we would need and get Honors English 9 credit in their regular English 9 class. It would just be more work than the rest of the students. So that is an option for our students. The next year, sophomore year, they can choose between English 10 or Honors English 10. And then their junior year, they would either do English 11 or AP Language and Composition. The AP Language and Composition is, the student is eligible to take the AP Language and Composition test and possibly receive college credit for that class if they get a high enough score on the AP exam. And then their senior year, they would take a English 12 writing seminar for 1 semester, and then the second semester they would take a literacy seminar. Or they can take AP Literature and Composition and again take the AP test if they wanted to and get potentially some college credit. Next is social studies. So they do need 3 years of social studies, 3 credits. So as a freshman, they would take US History or Honors US History. The same thing applies from the English 9 about if you're on the edge about honors, they could go into the regular the regular US History and do the honors US History assignments to get honors US History credit. Their sophomore year, they would take either civics or they could take AP Government. So that's 1 semester. The second semester, they would take either economics or honors economics. As a junior, and this could be, it will usually be junior year that they would take world history, but they also have the option to take the AP world history if they wanted to, and again, take the AP test and get college credit, possibly.
Ms. Chavez, I'm going to jump in for just a second. This is why I miss us doing things in person. Somebody asked a really great question about what is the difference between the honors and regular classes. And I put, the classes have the same curriculum, but our honor courses go deeper. And so this is how I explain it to people. I say, here's the class, here's a regular class. So same thing happens when you go into an honors or an advanced placement class. The classes go like this. So they go deeper, same curriculum, just deeper. Hopefully that helps. Sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you. I can't see this chat, so thanks. All right, I will move on. All right, so the next one is math. So the student does need to take 4 years of math. So every year that they're in high school, they would need to take a math class. As a 9th grader, they will take Algebra 1 unless they are taking Algebra 1 now as an 8th grader. We could talk about that more into depth, but the sequence will be Algebra 1 and then Geometry for sophomore year, and then Algebra 2. There's a couple of options for Algebra 2 as a junior. You can take the regular Algebra 2, There's an Algebra 2 that will go during your junior year and your senior year. It's at a slower pace. So if a student is struggling with math, they could take the Algebra 2 over 2 years. And then there's the Honors Algebra 2. And if they are interested in the OTEC program, there is an option to take an Algebra 2 exchange for their requirement. As a senior, they would take either a math elective, like they could take accounting to count as their senior year math, or they can take statistics, trigonometry, or if they're ahead of the game, they could take AP Calc and that sort of thing. So the other requirements are 3 years of science. So as a freshman, they would take biology. So they would take biology micro and then biology macro, their second semester. Next, they would need to either take chemistry or physics. And then their third year as a junior, or it could be senior too, but as a third year science class, they can take chemistry, they can take physics, they can take an AP science course. We have AP environmental science now, we have AP bio, AP chem. So we have quite a bit AP science classes that they could take, or they can get it through completing a career and technical education program, or a combination of 1 credit of science electives. So like survival is 1 semester and forensic science, for example. The next requirement for graduation is having 1 credit of a visual performing or applied arts class. So this can be any art class that we have. We have a general art exploration class. We do have some ceramics, digital photography, and that sort of thing. They're all year-long classes and will count towards their what we call VPA credit. If they're in choir, that can count. If they're in band, that will count. Some of our career and technical education classes counts, like the civil engineering architect and the web design and digital technology class, as well as our introduction to radio class will count. And these are all 1 credit, which is 1 year. Next is they have to take a semester of health, and they have to take a semester of the regular physical education class. There is an option to test out of PE. That is if you are going to be a 4-year band student in the high school or a 4-season athlete, you could do the student could do a written physical education exam, or if they don't want to completely do PE at all, they could just test out and do the physical and written test out. And if they have a high enough score, they can get credit for that PE class. Let's see. And then the student also needs to have a career and technical education credit, 1 credit, which is 1 year. So it's 1 year of any Avondale career and technical education class. So like I said, the civil engineering will count, web design. We have a managing your bankroll. We have we have introduction to oh gosh, I'm drawing a blank. Did I already say civil? Yeah, well, we have a variety of them. And or they can get that CTE credit through the OTEC program if they're going to be in one of those programs at the technical school. Next is their foreign language requirements. So they do need to have 2 years of the same language in order for it to count towards graduation. So they have to have a year of either French, German, or Spanish. And then the second year, they can have they can go into French 2, German 2, Spanish 2, or they can have an extra visual performing or applied arts class, and or completing a full year of a CTE class. So if they completed the full year of web design, they can get that credit for the second year of foreign language. Universities, if they are thinking about going to college, universities usually like to see at least 2 years of the same foreign language. So they'll like to see French 1 and French 2 on their transcript. So just keep that in mind. All right. So I will hand it over to Ms. Reyes to talk about the Michigan Merit Curriculum.
Hello, everyone. I will be taking over for this portion. We can start by talking a little bit about the classes that are at the middle school that students can earn credit for MMC or Michigan Merit Curriculum. So some classes that your student can take at the middle school or did take at the middle school that would count towards our high school requirements would be Algebra 1 or different higher level math classes, or a language. So if they took Spanish in 8th grade, that counts towards their high school graduation requirement. This does not count, or this doesn't go towards their total credits. So it wouldn't be added into their total credits that they need to graduate, which is that 23 credits, but it does fulfill their graduation requirement. So the language and Algebra 1 or higher math class. And it also does not, I should mention, is not calculated in their GPA at all either. So it's just simply giving them or fulfilling that high school graduation requirement. But that still means that every student needs to complete 4 credits of math between their 9th and their 12th grade. So every year you do need a math, and you do have to attend high school full-time for 8 semesters. So you have to take those 7 classes every semester for 8 semesters, which makes them a full-time high school student. And again, 23 total credits are needed in order to graduate from Avondale High School. Going to touch a little bit on honors and AP. I know we've talked about it before, but just to generalize it, honors courses are offered for our 9th and 10th graders. We have honors classes in subjects English, social studies, and math. And if your student does choose to take an honors and or an AP class throughout their time at Avondale, there is a statement/criteria form that we need filled out and signed by both you and the student. It lists out some expectations and it's essentially an agreement that your student and you are both aware of honors classes and or advanced placement classes and the expectations that those classes have, and because they are more in depth than a regular class, it's important that both you and the student understand that going into the class. The AP classes are offered for our 11th and 12th graders. Depending on the AP test and what your student scores, they can earn college credit. And that's a really big deal, and a lot of students take advantage of that, and we encourage it. And again, there is that honors and AP statement that we need signed. And when we do go into the middle school tomorrow, we will be providing that form for your student to take home, to go over it with you and for you guys to have a conversation about that. And yeah, I think next slide, please. Okay, so we do have some leadership opportunities at Avondale. We really got to see it in full effect today when 8th grade invasion was in doing their thing, and it was really cool to see. So we have a Leadership 101 class that is a semester long, so just one semester, and it's an elective class, and any students 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th graders can take that class. They have the opportunity to do that, and just a general kind of description of Leadership 101 is students are learning leadership skills and different communication skills and things like time management and just building and learning how or what it takes to be a leader and learning those skills. And then there is a different, almost the same, but a different class called Student Leadership, and that one is a year long. So when a student requests student leadership, they're committing to the full year of that class. And that does require an application that can be found on our school's website. And if a 9th grader through 12th grade, they can apply for that and have the opportunity to learn more about leadership and be more involved in our school and the culture. So those are really two cool opportunities for our students here. And this is where I give it over to Ms. Bolton to talk about high school transition.
Hi, everyone. I'm Samantha Bolton. I am the leadership teacher here at the high school. I also teach health and PE. As Devin said before, I am also a second generation Avondale graduate who's now working in the district. So I'm here to talk to you about high school transition, which is a class that started 2 years ago. And it became something that staff and students gathered together and formed this idea that we need to help support our 9th graders in ways beyond just having them be in 7 hours of school a day. So this class is really unique where upperclassmen in 11th and 12th grade apply to be a mentor to the 9th grade class coming in, and they get placed into a class. So inside of our classrooms, we'll have 27 9th graders and then 4 to 6 upperclassmen, and they get a small group of 9th graders that are like their mentees, and they work with them for the whole year to cover all the topics you see on your screen here. So we talk about social emotional skills, things like stress levels and how to manage them and coping mechanisms. And honestly, in 9th grade, we talk a lot about friendships and how they can change and how it's okay and how to find people with similar values that you have and identify those values that you find important. We spend time working on academics. Us as teachers will do grade checks, and we will show missing assignment reports. And then the mentors will let the 9th graders know like what classes they are good in, and then they will help them study or help them. If it is a skill or a class that we can't help with, we will advise them to go to our NHS tutoring, or we'll even ask other hours that have mentors to see if anybody can help them. We use a lot of restorative practices. We have a lot of conversations about things so that we are all on the same page as we move forward. Community building, and then we follow along with our career exploration through using Zello and lessons that are put on by our technology team in order to build their capacity, not just on like how to build a resume or how to interview, but like what do you want to do as you go out into the world, and like where do you need to go to do that. And it doesn't just put them in the view of college. It looks at all different types of jobs, and they take quizzes to learn skills that are strengths. It's a really cool program that shows them a lot of different things, and we take time to actually break it down and go through that with all of our 9th graders. And then they continue to use that program as they go through high school because it is a requirement also by the state. But I've taught it for 2 years. I was on the committee that planned the class, and the bonds that you see made between the upperclassmen and the underclassmen is wonderful. And now that it's in its 3rd year, I have students, and a lot of students who are mentors now were in the first round of the 9th grade transition, and they loved being a mentor just as much as they loved being a student. So if you have any questions on the mentoring class or the leadership class, I can answer them in the chat. I'm also a class board advisor, so I can answer any of those in the chat as you go forward.
So to touch base on some things that we've mentioned, again, the counselors will be going into the middle school tomorrow to go over scheduling for their 9th grade year. And we're looking forward to it and seeing them in person and answering any questions that they have, going through what class they need, each class subject specific, and helping them and guiding them through that process. So when they leave school tomorrow, you should expect their request form. It'll be a green packet that will have their course requests, and we are asking that you go through it with them and look it over and eventually sign so that they can turn it in and we can get their schedules. And as well as I mentioned before, we will have that honors statement handy and available for those students too, to take home, and you look over it with them and again, sign and turn it in. So a couple of things to remember. Both the honors statement and that course request form, those are both due by the 9th, which is Wednesday. So please be sure that they're in no later than March 9th. And if we don't get it in for any reason, the counselors will end up just putting in their schedules for the students that we didn't have their forms. And again, March 9th is the due date for both honor statement and the course request form. Make sure that if there are any changes that need to be made after you turn it in on March 9th, that they be made on or before April 29th, and email your student's counselor to make those changes or those requests. If both the request form and the honors statement, they both need to be signed. If they're not, we won't be able to put them and give them their course request and put their schedules together without those signed documents. And I believe sign up on the page. For anyone interested in that test out option, we do have the test out form on our website as well. The student leadership application form is also on our website. So make sure that if you're requesting, if your student's requesting student leadership, that they are applying for it. And as well as if they wanted to do any test out, they have to fill out a form and apply for that too. So as we've been saying, any questions at all, please ask them in the chat box and we will answer them.
So the question that came up is, can you explain the test out process? And instead of typing out, I'll just go ahead and talk about it a little bit. Students have the ability to test out of a class, any class at the high school, whether that's like geometry or algebra or the biggest one that we're talking to the kids about right now is that physical education option. Because if they choose to opt out of the physical education option by doing marching band or 4 seasons of a sport, they must pass the written assessment for that. So the sooner the kids do the test out, we know they can't get their 4 years in until their senior year or anything. But what it does for them is if they get that done, number one, it's a box to check off that they've already done it and passed it. And then the other thing that it does for them is it allows them to go in and take some of our advanced PE classes for those kids who want movement and stuff in their day. We offer like team sports, lifetime sports, strength and conditioning, those kind of things. So it opens the door for them to take those classes as well. But what happens with the test out process is the student requests a test out. We're doing test outs in April, in August, and then a PE, or that written formative assessment for the PE opt-out, is in December. So they sign up, and then that gets processed, and we provide a syllabus and or materials. Mostly, I believe, Miss Bolton, is for the PE test out. Is that just the syllabus that they study?
No, we have a study guide that we'll provide as well.
Perfect. So a study guide, and what happens is they get those, and they have an opportunity to study. So what I've been we've been doing high school scheduling, and what I've been talking to the kids about is, if you're going to try to test out of a subject like geometry or algebra or health, it would be best to sign up for the August test out, because you will get your materials in June at the end of school. And then you'll have the summer to be able to test. And then you'll get a written notification as to when you come in. It's usually, Mr. Brooks usually handles that for us. And it's usually that first week in August that we have the test out sessions. Oh, and the most important thing, 77 or above means they pass the test out and get a credit. 77 or below means they did not pass, and they must go in and take the actual class. The PE assessment, correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Bolton, but I believe they get two chances to take that before they actually have to take the PE class.
Yeah, if they're doing marching band or the sports, they get 2 attempts to pass before they have to take class.
There we go.
Ms. Bolton, there's a question on here that says, can you please share the exact location on the website for the student leadership application?
I think Kim, can you?
That is under,
Oh, go ahead,
Sorry.
Ms. Reyes, go ahead.
if you go to the Avondale High School website, if you scroll down a little bit towards the bottom where it says curriculum and scheduling, it's under that tab.
We also typically, because they can like write it onto their scheduling paper and it goes in, but the counselors will not add anybody until the whole application process is complete. So students fill out usually a Google form application, and then the other leadership teachers and I will reach out to them, and we schedule an interview where we kind of interview them, but just talk about what skills they have and like where they want to go with their leadership skills. And then once they are either accepted or denied by us, the counselors will actually put it into their schedule. So anybody who writes it down is okay. They need to fill out the application as a follow-up, and then we reach out about the rest of the process.
There is another question on here that says, are there any summer, oh, sorry, that's okay. Are there any summer sessions or tutoring available before they start freshman year to make sure that they are in a space to succeed, especially because middle school years were all over the place? We currently do not have anything in place outside of summer school that would offer supports along those lines. The transition class is an everyday class. It is one of the 7 classes that all of our freshmen take. So it looks like the links are not working. Okay, we'll look into the links when we have a minute. Are there other? There's a leadership link right there. So they are putting them in the chat for you for the leadership links. If there are any other questions, please ask them now. If not, we are going to switch to our breakout rooms. It says, are there other languages options other than French, Spanish, and German? We do offer options to our 21F classes, but in-person classes, we are limited to French, Spanish, and German currently.
So for the test out, the study materials, so when you go in to apply for, or when you sign up to do a test out, you choose when you want to do your test out. If you want to do that in April, then you will get those materials about 3 weeks before the test out, the actual date in April. The June, if you choose, it would be an August date that you choose, and then we get them to you before you leave when school is out.
The breakout sessions will be recorded, yes. Sorry, there was just a bunch that just came in. It says they're no longer offering AC classes. We are offering AC classes, but they are based on our counselors placing those students in those classes based on the student's need. Our students do not have the ability to sign up for an AC class anymore. There's a form for the honor statement, an online form that the students fill out on the Avondale website as well. It is a document that will come with their application for their classes. Correct, Kim? You're not doing an online version of it, correct?
No, it's paper copy.
Do honors classes have required summer assignments? The way that the majority of our classes have gone for honors as well as AP, for some of them, for some of our AP classes in the future, they do have summer assignments, but the majority of our honors classes, especially our English classes, moved to a recommended reading that they do look to have conversations about in the first couple of weeks of school, but there has not been any required. However, before this year, there have been requirements for some of the honors classes. And as we move into next year, we've kind of moved away from the online versions that we were in last year. That may be something that we do pick up. However, if that information is going to occur for any honors classes, we will send that out prior to the summer.
So the other thing I'd like to add about the honors classes here are different. Sometimes the kids get confused because at the middle school, the English is a placement of the advanced English at the middle school. Here, the kids sign up. If they sign up for an honors class and you don't hear from us, please know that they will be placed in an honors class during their freshman year. So there's no notification that comes along with that. We want them all to have the opportunity to jump in and try an honors class if they would like. The nice thing about the honors and the AP is that it's not sequential. So if they come in and they want to, just because they're nervous about ninth grade, they come in and they just want to do regular classes, they can still jump into an honors class in 10th grade, an honors English, or in 10th grade, they have AP government, they have the honors economics. And even with the advanced placement classes, we have kids who take regular 9th and 10th grade classes, and then they get their confidence built up, and then they jump into those advanced placement classes in 11th and 12th grade. So I just want you to know that it's not sequential. And if they apply for an honors, they're going to be placed in an honors class. So the question is, somebody is interested in geometry, testing out of geometry. So at the high school, it's algebra, then geometry, then algebra 2. So hopefully they've completed algebra, and then what you're saying is they want to go into geometry. So literally geometry is going to be, you have to pass semester 1 and semester 2. So it's 2 tests. You'll get the material for that, but you don't need to look for a form for that. Once we get that test out request link working, you'll be able to sign up to that. And I believe that is open a little bit longer, especially if you're going to do the test out in August.